For me, this is like a blind date. I've never fired this gun. I have no experience with this gun, but everybody speaks very highly of it. So I wanted to come out to the range and shoot one for myself. All right, guys, before we get started, I want to give a shout out to guns.com. They have an extensive used gun inventory. A lot of guys don't know, they sell a lot of used guns online, new guns online, and they let me borrow this P226 to shoot and see if I enjoy it. This is basically a double single action. You have double action where essentially you pull the trigger, it has to bring the hammer all the way to the rear, then send it forward, and single action where the hammer's already to the rear and all you're doing is sending it forward. So let's run a few rounds through it and go from there. This is like I want to say about 5 yards. You know, I'm not shooting for groups. Basically trying to get comfortable with the trigger. Not gonna lie, I hate it. The reset is terrible, but I'm gonna put some more rounds through it and see if I can kind of adapt to the trigger pull and the trigger reset. It's about 7 yards. So now I'm gonna pull the trigger from double action. So first round is double action, automatically goes right into single action. Oh, slapped the out of that. Yanked 2 rounds, just trying to familiarize myself with the trigger pull. You know, what they said on all the rumors online and everybody on social media that was telling me, you know, the trigger reset is terrible. You know, but it's an OEM setup and, you know, it is what it is. So we're about 45 rounds in. I'm having a little bit of difficulty with the trigger reset. It's very long and, you know, shooting Glocks where you can get a really short reset, real crisp reset. You know, it's giving me a little bit of issues. However, the gun is super accurate and I'm gonna give it a little bit of distance. Pan down there real quick. The target, that's about, I don't know, 20 yards away. So we're gonna go ahead and put a couple rounds in the distance. So after looking at the footage from before, because we didn't repost, looks like I threw this one and threw this one, maybe another one. So everything else was pretty much dead center. I'm starting to really enjoy shooting this handgun, and the more rounds I put through it, the more familiar the trigger becomes and the less of an issue it is. So I'm gonna repost and go back to the 25, run about 5 more rounds and see what kind of groupie we can get. All right, so we're at about the 25-yard mark and I reposted the target, and after becoming a little more familiar with the trigger and the ergonomics of the gun, I'm gonna see what kind of grouping we can shoot at 25. Yanked it. All right, so 2 flyers, you know, rest here got a pretty decent 4-round group. Like I said, I'm not too comfortable with the trigger yet, but you know, I'll take this all day long. So first round, this is the first round, and then this is the round after reload. You know, good hits. Ah. All right, so one of the things that a friend of mine, Mike, known as Mr. Guns and Gear on YouTube, said was, if I thought I had issues with my Glock riding the slide release with the Glock, I would have this. I haven't had it so far, and it just happened to me now, to where basically I hit it, I was holding it down, and when the gun went dry, the slide didn't lock to the rear. So let's keep going. We're gonna try to hit that small steel target. I think we're about 40 yards away. Beep. That was pretty fast. Guys, final thoughts on the SIG P226 Mark 25. To be honest with you, initially when I started shooting it, I hated it. As I got more familiar and accustomed to the trigger, I slowly started to really enjoy shooting this gun. There's very minimal recoil. The ergonomics are not terrible. After a few reloads, I was able to become proficient. It is ridiculously accurate, super fun to shoot. Not too heavy, you know, being a Glock shooter and accustomed to that weight, I thought this might be a little bit of an issue, but it's not whatsoever. This is a great gun. I actually might even buy it from guns.com and slap in one of those SRT trigger kits and really put this gun to use. All right guys, if you noticed, I didn't really go into the specifics or the technical aspects of the 226. This is not the video for that. This video was to show you guys the transition from a really heavy Glock shooter into a SIG platform. And if you're in the market for a SIG handgun, or you want to swap over from the polymer stuff, this is a very viable option. I want to thank guns.com for sending it out to me to try.